It all started so simply. We were happy, at least I thought we were. She told me I was the only one she could trust, and for the first time, I felt like maybe I wasn't just someone in the background of her life, but the center of it. I had always been the guy who stayed in the shadows, the one who would always put others before myself, always helping, always sacrificing, always doing what needed to be done. That's what she liked about me. I gave, and I never asked for anything in return. We were together for almost 2 years. I was proud of the relationship we built. Sure, we had our ups and downs, but it seemed like something real. I supported her through everything. She had a dream, and I helped her chase it. No matter what it took. But one day, things started to shift. I could feel it in the way she spoke, the way she seemed distant, but I brushed it off. She was busy, overwhelmed, right? She had school, her dreams of becoming something big, and I told myself, this is just a phase. Then came the day she asked for help. Her tuition. She wanted me to pay it. The amount was ridiculous, but she told me it was her future. She needed it, and she was counting on me to come through for her. She told me, real men fight for love, don't they? Of course, I didn't hesitate. I made the transfer. Every penny I had saved, every sacrifice I'd made over the years, was going to help her succeed. It felt good, giving her what she needed to move forward. She was my world, and this was my way of proving that I would always be there for her. But little did I know, this was the first step toward my downfall. The next few days were strange. I didn't hear from her as much. She became more distant, colder even. I thought maybe she's just busy with her classes, with the new semester starting. But then she started avoiding me. Short texts, vague replies. I kept telling myself, it's just a phase. Then it happened. Out of nowhere, she blocked me. I didn't even see it coming. No warning, no explanation. Just gone. I sat there, staring at my phone, not understanding. I tried reaching out, but she wouldn't respond. I was dumbfounded. What happened? And that's when I started to see it. Slowly, pieces began to fall into place. She didn't need me. Not really. She needed what I could give her. She needed the money, and when I had fulfilled my role in her life, I was dispensable. I thought we had something real. I thought I was the one who mattered to her. But I was wrong. I spent the next few weeks trying to figure it out. I called, texted, messaged her through every platform. I needed answers. She owed me that much, right? Then she responded, but not in the way I expected. It was cold, calculated. I didn't ask you to pay for my tuition, she said. It was your choice, not mine. She even tried to turn it around on me, making me feel like I was the one who was wrong. And that's when I realized, this wasn't about love. This wasn't about us. It was about her. She had used me, and when I was no longer needed, she cast me aside without a second thought. But it didn't stop there. A few weeks later, I found out something that made everything worse. She had already moved on. She was seeing someone else, someone who had been in the background, someone I never even saw coming. And the worst part? She had been talking to him while she was with me. The texts, the late-night calls, the plans they had made, everything she had done behind my back. I felt like a fool. Not only had I been used, but I had been played. I confronted her, of course. The truth spilled out. She didn't even deny it. You were never the one, she said. I was just keeping you around until I figured things out. And that was it. The final blow. I could hardly recognize myself after that. The man I had been, the one who would sacrifice everything for someone else, was gone. In his place was a man who had been used, deceived, and discarded. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about the betrayal. It was about how easily she had manipulated me, how easily she had taken advantage of my love and turned it into something toxic. And that's when the reality hit me. Real men fight for love, she had said. But maybe, just maybe, real men also know when to walk away. So I walked. I walked away from everything. The love I thought we had, the woman who had broken me, and the idea that love meant giving everything without expecting anything in return. It wasn't easy. It still isn't. But I knew it was the only choice I had left. I'll never forget the way she told me I wasn't enough. I'll never forget the way she blocked me, as if I was nothing more than a passing inconvenience in her life. But I'm learning to let go. It's hard, but I know it's the only way forward. And as for her? She'll never know the real cost of her actions. She'll never understand the damage she caused, the way she left me, shattered, trying to pick up the pieces of something I thought was real. But I'm stronger now. Stronger than I was before. Stronger than I ever thought I could be. And no matter what, I'm not going to fight for something that was never meant to be mine. It's funny how life works, isn't it? You think you've figured it out. You think you know the rules, that you can see the patterns, and then, out of nowhere, it all falls apart. The woman I thought was my everything, the person I believed I would spend the rest of my life with, turned out to be someone who saw me as nothing more than a stepping stone. And I was too blind to see it until I had already given her everything. After the confrontation, I thought things couldn't get worse. How could they? I had already been blocked, lied to, and cast aside. But then came the moment when I finally understood just how deep the manipulation ran. The real gut punch wasn't the cheating, the lies, or the broken promises. It was the realization that she had been using me from the start. The tuition wasn't the only thing she wanted. It was everything. She wanted me to prove my worth, to show that I would do anything for her. And when I did, she discarded me like it was nothing. But here's the kicker, she never apologized. Not once. She didn't feel remorse. She didn't even regret her actions. No, instead, she blamed me for everything. For her mistakes. For the fact that she used me until she was done with me. It was as if she truly believed I owed her that much, that I had to pay the price for her mistakes. I was angry, sure. I felt like a fool. But the real anger didn't come from the betrayal. It came from the fact that I had let it happen. I had let her manipulate me, made excuses for her, and let her walk all over me because I thought I was doing the right thing. Because I believed in love, in loyalty. I believed in fighting for someone when they needed me. But I didn't fight for myself. And that was the mistake I'll never make again. I tried to move on, tried to heal, but it wasn't easy. She still lurked in the background of my thoughts. Her words still echoed in my mind, haunting me. Real men fight for love. But what she didn't understand, what she never would understand, was that real men don't fight for people who don't respect them. Real men don't fight for people who only see them as tools to get what they want. Months passed. The sting of the betrayal started to fade, but the scars remained. And then, out of nowhere, she reappeared. It was like she had never left. She slid back into my life, slipping back into the space I had worked so hard to clear. I wasn't sure if I should be angry or confused. But I was both. Her message was simple. I miss you. I made a mistake. I want to fix things. She said all the right things, everything I had hoped to hear, everything that made me think maybe, just maybe, there was still a chance for us. Maybe she had realized what she had done. Maybe she understood. But then I remembered. I remembered how she blocked me, how she treated me like I was disposable. I remembered the words I had told myself that day when I walked away, I will never fight for love again. I couldn't do it. I couldn't let myself fall back into her web. I couldn't let her manipulate me again. So I didn't respond. I didn't say a word. And that, somehow, was the hardest thing I'd ever done. A few days passed, and she tried again. This time, the message was different. It was colder, harsher, almost accusatory. You think you're better than me now, don't you? She wrote. You think I don't deserve your help. Well, fine. I don't need you anymore. And just like that, the mask slipped. It wasn't about love. It was never about love. It was about control, about her needing to have the upper hand. And when she realized that I wasn't going to give her that power anymore, she lashed out. The final blow came when I found out that she had been spreading lies about me to our mutual friends. She told them that I was the one who abandoned her, that I was too selfish to see things from her perspective. She painted herself as the victim, as the one who had been wronged. And she didn't even care about the damage she caused. But what hurt more than anything was the realization that, after everything, I was still the one who had to bear the weight of it all. I was the one who had to pick up the pieces. I was the one left with the broken heart, the shattered trust, and the knowledge that I had allowed this to happen for far too long. And then, in the middle of all this chaos, something unexpected happened. I found myself not caring. Not in a way that was apathetic, but in a way that was freeing. I realized that her version of love was never mine to fight for. That her idea of a relationship was nothing more than a battlefield where only one person could win, and it was never going to be me. I had spent so much time trying to make her see me, trying to make her understand, trying to fight for something that wasn't even real. But in the end, I learned the most important lesson: the only fight that truly matters is the one you fight for yourself. And that's what I've been doing. Moving forward. Rebuilding my life without her, without the toxicity, without the need for validation. It's been hard, but it's been worth it. The anger faded, the confusion lifted, and in its place came clarity. For the first time in years, I feel like I'm in control. I don't need her. I don't need anyone who thinks they can use me for their own gain. I'm done being a pawn in someone else's game. The truth is, I fought for love. But not for hers. For mine. And that's what makes me a real man. It was funny how I thought everything would just go back to normal after that. I had finally accepted that she was gone, that I was done with the lies and the manipulation. I'd cut her off, blocked her number, and moved on. Or so I thought. But life never really lets you go that easily. I didn't expect to hear from her again, but of course I did. That's how things work, right? When you think you've finally found peace, that's when the storm comes back. This time, though, it wasn't a text, a call, or a pleading message. No. It was something far worse. She showed up. I was sitting at my kitchen table, sipping on my coffee, staring at the laptop screen as I tried to focus on work. The doorbell rang, and I froze. It was early. Too early for anyone to be visiting. I got up to check, figuring it was maybe a delivery or some unexpected visitor. But when I opened the door, there she was. Melon. I stood there for a second, unsure how to react. Her presence was almost suffocating, like a bad memory you can't shake off. She was standing there, looking the same as ever, calm and composed, with that smile that I knew so well, the one that always seemed to be hiding something. She didn't say anything at first, just stood there, like she was waiting for me to invite her in. I didn't. Instead, I just stared at her, trying to figure out what the hell she was doing here. "I need to talk to you," she said after a moment, her voice soft but carrying that familiar tone of entitlement. "You've got some nerve," I said, my anger bubbling up before I could stop it. "You've done enough talking. You've used me, blocked me, and now you think you can just show up unannounced?" Her smile faltered for a second, but she quickly regained her composure. "I never wanted it to be this way. I don't know how to fix things. I thought if I came to you, we could talk." I crossed my arms, still standing in the doorway. "Fix things? You've had plenty of chances to fix things. You didn't even give me the decency of an explanation when you left. You blocked me. You told me I was nothing. And now you're here, acting like everything's fine?" She looked down for a second, and when she looked back up, there was something in her eyes. Guilt? Regret? No, it wasn't that simple. She wasn't here to apologize. I knew her too well. "I was wrong," she said finally, and it took everything in me not to laugh at how empty those words sounded coming from her. "But I can't undo the past. I need you to understand that I was under a lot of pressure. I didn't know what else to do." Pressure. The same excuse she had always used when things didn't go her way. I shook my head. "No. This isn't about pressure. This is about you using me, manipulating me, and then throwing me away when I wasn't useful anymore. That's not pressure. That's selfishness. Her expression changed again, more defensive now. I didn't use you. She stopped, cutting herself off. I was just trying to get ahead. You wouldn't understand. I laughed bitterly, the anger rising once again. Yeah, I wouldn't understand. Because I'm just the guy you used, right? You don't need me anymore, now that you have your new guy, your perfect life. You don't need anyone who's actually going to call you out on your crap. Her eyes flashed for a split second, but she quickly composed herself. You're still angry. I get it. But I came here to fix this, to fix us. Can't we just put everything behind us? The words hit me harder than I wanted to admit. She didn't even understand what she had done. She thought showing up, giving some vague apology, and offering a smile was enough to erase everything. But I wasn't that guy anymore. No, I said, my voice steady but firm. We can't put this behind us. Not like this. You don't get to waltz back into my life and pretend everything's fine. You don't get to act like nothing happened. The damage is done, Melon. And I'm done. She stood there for a moment, as if the words hadn't quite sunk in. Then, just like that, the mask she wore slipped again. I've done everything for you. Everything I could. And this is how you repay me? Her voice rose, sharper now. You think you're better than me? You think you can just walk away and leave me to deal with all this? You've never supported me, never understood what I've had to sacrifice. You think I'm the bad person here? I stood there, the weight of her words falling on me like bricks, but I didn't flinch. I didn't step back. No, I said, my voice steady, unwavering. You think you're the victim. But the truth is, you've been manipulating everyone around you, including me. You've used me to get ahead, to feel better about yourself. And now that you've gotten everything you wanted, you're back here, looking for someone to forgive you. But I'm not that person anymore. For the first time, I saw something in her eyes that wasn't anger or defensiveness. It was fear. Fear of being exposed for who she really was. But it wasn't my problem anymore. I'm sorry, I said, though I didn't mean it. But I'm done. And then, just like that, she turned and walked away. The silence that filled the space between us was thick, suffocating. She didn't look back. But I didn't need her to. I had finally done it. I had cut the cord. I had let her go, and it felt like I had finally let myself go. For the first time in months, I felt free. It didn't stop there, of course. The guilt lingered for a while, but it was nothing compared to the weight I had carried for so long. I had been manipulated, used, and discarded. But that wasn't my fault. It wasn't about her anymore, it was about me. I was healing, slowly, but surely. As for Melon, I didn't know what would become of her. Maybe she'd find someone else to manipulate, maybe not. But that was no longer my concern. She was no longer my burden to bear. What mattered now was that I had finally learned to fight for myself. And that was enough.